What's going on, guys? My name is Kyle and welcome back. Today we're going to try and give the Lancer's engine bay a bit of a facelift. Now we're going to try and do it in a way that I've never done it before, so hopefully it works out, because if it does, it's going to look wicked. And if it doesn't, I mean, it'll still look okay, but it'd be better if it was done right. So for right now, this is what the Lancer's engine bay looks like. We have the already painted headers that we've done in a previous video that I'll link up the top somewhere. But this is what we're working on today. We're going to be taking off the valve cover, giving that a really good clean and a paint, and potentially having a look at what we're going to do with all that mess back there. But more than anything, we're going to be doing the valve cover today. Now this is one of those things that I've actually had the chance to do before. I have painted one of the valve covers on a previous car, but I've not done it like this. The first time I did it, it didn't look very good. So I'm hoping today we can improve on my past experience, I guess. Let me show you what our plan is. Okay, so how are we going to do it differently this time compared to times that I've tried in the past? So today we're going to be trying a 4-step process, which hopefully is going to give us a really nice metallic finish. Now when I've done stuff like this before, I literally went in with no preparation, no research, nothing along those lines. I went into Super Cheap Auto, got a can of high heat paint and just painted the rocker cover, and that was it. No primer, no clear coat, no nothing. It was just away we go. I don't even think by memory that I cleaned down the surface before I painted or prepared it in any way, shape or form. So with any luck today, we can do a better job. Now I'm by no means an expert, so don't take this video as an educational experience, unless of course it works, and then fantastic. But if it doesn't, I fully warn you. Now because we are taking the valve cover off the car, there's going to be a couple of different gaskets that are going to be removed that we are going to replace. So before I take anything off the car, I made sure I went out and bought a gasket kit. It has a perimeter gasket, spark plug gaskets, it even has an oil drain plug gasket. I think this cost me around $40 for a full kit, and this is going to do everything we need to replace the gaskets in the car. Hopefully this might even fix one of my issues of getting some oil leaking into the spark plugs, because I have a feeling those gaskets are pretty old. So once it's all painted, before we put everything back in, we can change all the gaskets and hopefully fix that problem. So I guess first things first is let's take the valve cover off the car and see what we're working with. Okay, so before I start taking anything apart, what I'm going to do is use some tape and this marker, and I'm just going to mark each individual spark plug 1 through 4. So when we put everything back together, we know exactly where things were. We don't want to mess that up. We don't want to change the order. We're going to put it all back the way it was. So tape and marker, best way to do it. All right, now that our ignition leads are labeled, what I'm going to do is start unplugging all of the electrical clips that plug into these, take all of these out, undo all of these, and just start getting the valve cover off. So let's do it, I guess. Okay, valve cover's off. Let's go have a look at it. All right, so I put it down on a piece of cardboard just because there's gonna be quite a bit of oil that's coming out of the bottom of that, because obviously there's gonna be oil inside the valve cover. So I've got it on top of some cardboard. I think let's just take this filler cap off, because this has a little seal in there that in my gasket kit, this actually has a replacement. So we're gonna replace the seal for the filler cap. How to take this out? Just pulled? Okay, well there you go. So here is our, I don't know what this is. I think our PCV or PV, no, I think it's PCV, your pressure control valve. I might be wrong, I don't know. Don't quote me. It's something that goes on top, but we have another little gasket here that we actually have another replacement for. When I first got this gasket set home, I was looking at it and didn't really know what some of the little added extras were, but now opening this up and looking at it, I can see that there's one for the filler cap, there's one for here. There is a little D-shaped one that I have no idea where that goes, but I'm sure we're gonna find that out before the end of the day. So let's take out this little rubber grommet. I don't think there's any other rubber grommets anywhere, but you can also see here, this is the old gasket. That looks really bad. Oh, there we go. God, look. The oil, since I've had this car, the oil has never been this black. So any oil that must have been left underneath that gasket must be old, because I've never had oil look that disgusting. So this gasket must have been in there for a hot minute. Anyway, let's flip it over. We'll clean everything up. We'll get rid of all of this leftover oil from the inside before we start spreading it literally everywhere. And then I guess we'll get it ready for paint. All right, so I've done the first initial clean of the rocker cover. So I'll show you what it looks like right now, but then I'm gonna get a wire brush and I'm gonna go through, clean everything with a wire brush. Then we might look at some sandpaper to make sure all the fine details are ready. and we'll just go from there. So this is what it looks like right now. You can see it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a hell of a lot cleaner than it was when we took it off the car. So what I'm gonna do now is get a wire brush and sort of just go through all of these spots. So there's tiny little, in here, I can't get that with a cloth. I can't get that perfect. So I'm just gonna get a wire brush. I'll go through, scrub everything with a wire brush, and then we'll sort of reevaluate whether it needs sandpaper or not. I dare say we'll have to go back through it with sandpaper anyway, just to make sure that it's all flat and level. But I'll hit this with the brush first and just see how much better I can make it. All right, so I've given the rocker cover a really, really good clean and a sand. So what I'm gonna do now is take it outside with the air compressor, make sure that all of the extra dust and debris and metal shavings and stuff are out and off this thing. And then we'll bring it back inside, give it a final clean, and get ready to prime it. Let's go. All right, so I'm gonna give it one final clean with this wax and grease remover, and then we're gonna take it outside and hit it with our first couple of coats of primer. I'm genuinely excited. All right, she's all clean, she's wiped down. Let's go put her outside, chuck her in the sun for a bit, and we'll have a look at the primer instructions. All right, so I've got the rocker cover set up, ready to go. I've got these little stands underneath it just to elevate it to make sure we can get all the bottom sections. So once we do each coat, I'm actually gonna chuck this little container right on the top just to make sure that nothing lands in it. Because we're gonna be painting outside, I don't want anything to just land on top and stay in the paint. So hopefully this works. Hopefully it doesn't do any damage. I don't know, man. We're just gonna work it out. So I guess the last thing really to do before we prime, I'm just gonna tape up this little inlet hose adapter valve thing here on the end, and then we should be good to go. So I'll tape that up and we'll just start priming. It is stupid hot here today, so what I might do is get the GoPro, set the GoPro up, and take my good camera inside because it is already overheated in the sun. So I'm gonna set up the GoPro and we'll sort of go through the painting process. All right, so I've got the GoPro set up, everything's ready to go, but I'm gonna quickly run you through this again because I don't think we're gonna get a chance to get out there and change different camera angles because this camera's already overheated twice. It's not even that hot. So here's what we're gonna do. Each of these different colors and cans are gonna be applied 10 minutes after each other. So we're gonna do 3 coats of primer, 10 minutes apart. On the final coat of the primer, we're then gonna get our base or our base metallic, and we're gonna do 3 coats of this, 10 minutes apart. You're starting to see a pattern here. After the third and final coat of the base metallic has been done, we wait another 10 minutes, then we're gonna get our color coat and do, you guessed it, 3 coats of this 10 minutes apart. And you're probably gonna guess what's next. On the third and final coat, 10 minutes later, we're gonna do our gloss clear coat. I didn't really need to explain all of that in the depth that we did, but that's what we're gonna do. I probably won't have time to change everything and do this in the time that we have, so enjoy this time lapse of me going through all of these painting steps and painting the valve cover. So there we go, all of the painting steps have been completed, which I'm sure you probably saw through a time lapse. But I've done all of the 4 steps. Now what we need to do is wait 3 hours. All of the paint will be touch dry in about an hour, but we want to be able to handle it, which is going to take around 3. So we're going to leave the cover over the top of it drying. We'll leave it there for a couple of hours and then we'll come back and put it back on the car. While we waited, I was going to change all of the spark plug grommets and things like that, but I'm going to go have some lunch to eat and then we'll do that once we put that back on, I think. Sounds fair. I'll see you in 3 hours. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I know for you it doesn't feel like anything's changed, but it's very weird for me to stop filming for like a couple of hours and then come back to it. Is very weird. But it's been about 2.5 hours since I finished up the last coat of the paint, so we've still got about half an hour to wait before we can physically handle the valve cover. But I thought we'd come back out to the garage, set everything up ready to put the valve cover back on. We can change the spark plug gaskets, we can change the drain plug gasket, and then we put the new gasket on the valve cover and bolt it back on. I think that'll work. I don't know, we'll see. I have a timer set for the 3-hour mark for the valve cover. So I think let's have a look at the engine. We'll work out what we have to do to change the spark plug gaskets. I literally think it's as simple as just taking the old ones off and putting the new ones on. I don't know. Let's have a look and I guess we'll work it out from there. Okay, so when we took the valve cover off, what I did is just put this rag over the top of the head to make sure nothing falls in or, you know, lands inside the engine, because that's the last thing we want. But let's take this off. We'll have a bit of a look as to what is going on. So you can see, let me zoom in the camera. There we go. So you can see we've got the 4 valves right here, and this is where the spark plugs are actually inserted. So each of these have this plastic gasket on the edge of each. Do I just pull these off? Oh, there we go. Yeah, just pull them off. I wonder if these, let me get a rag, I'll clean this off and we'll have a look. I wonder if any of these rubber grommets for the spark plugs are broken. Maybe that would explain why we're getting oil in there. I honestly have no idea. I really have no clue. Let's take all of these off and we'll do a bit of an inspection and see what's going on. Well, I've taken all of these spark plug grommets off and I can't see any like physical damage on them. I can see that they've worn down a little bit, but I can't see like any big splits or cracks in them. What I am gonna do while we're here is I'm just gonna clean up where these mount to, just to make sure there's no, you know, old gunk and stuff in there. While it's all open, we may as well. And then once we've cleaned all this up, what I'm gonna do is open up that gasket kit. All right, let's get the new ones. So the new ones come in this kit, and like I said, there's a couple of different things. One thing that I am trying to find is, I don't know how easy that's gonna be to see, but there's this little half moon grommet. I honestly have no idea where it goes. I know this one here replaces the PCV valve grommet that we took out from the valve cover before we started painting, but that other one, I have no idea. So if you know what that's from, I'm gonna have another little look around, but if you know where this is from, please tell me, because I have no idea. Now we have, like I said, our perimeter gasket. This is the one that was on the underside of the valve cover. So this we're gonna have to put on last once the paint is ready to be handled. And then in here, we have 4 of these individual little spark plug gasket cover things. All right, let's chuck these on. I think it's just as simple as like putting them on and placing them down, I guess. Once we put the valve cover back on, it's gonna create a seal on these anyway, which I guess makes a bit of sense. But I don't know the last time that the other ones were changed. I don't really know what it looks like when they're really, really worn out. They're very, very different to the ones that I'm just putting on now. These ones are very, very stiff, very hard. These ones are quite soft. So again, I don't know if this is like a different material or if this is better or worse. I have no idea, but we'll put the new ones on and we'll see how they go. All right, I just double checked our timer. It's almost there. We're gonna wait just a little bit longer before we take the box off and have a bit of a look. But I think before we do that, we're gonna change the fill plug gasket, which is just in here. So inside the fill plug, give this a bit of a wipe down, get the oil off so you can see what I'm talking about. Inside here, there's a little gasket that just sits around the outer rim. I don't know if this is old and needs to be replaced, but I guess while we're here, we may as well freshen everything. We've got it all here, we may as well do it. There was literally a screw that went through the top and then a little bolt on the underside. That was definitely a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. I don't know why I thought this was gonna be overly difficult to remove, but that's what overthinking looks like. I'm gonna go have a look at the timer and see how much longer we have, because I'm so excited to have a look at this paint with you. I haven't looked at it yet, so I have no idea. I wanna look at it together. I'm gonna go check the timer, see if we can sneak a peek, and get ready to start reassembling, I guess. The timer's literally got like 2 or 3 minutes left, so I think now's the time. I haven't checked this yet, so I don't know if it worked. I don't know if it looks good. So let's just cross our fingers, I guess, because yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna feel if this doesn't work. I was feeling so confident. Okay, anyway, whew, let's go. God, I'm nervous. Let's go! Oh my God! Oh, let's go! No way! No way! I'm blown away. I'm gonna take it out. I wanna look at the sun. I wanna look at it what it looks like in the sun. Oh God. I am genuinely so impressed. I am so impressed. Oh my gosh. Millie is gonna be so proud. Oh my God, yes. Let's go! I genuinely cannot tell you how excited and happy I am with the way that that turned out. I'm very happy with that. We did that, man. I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed. Okay, let's get this ready to put back in the car because I want to see what this looks like. So what we have to do now is replace this grommet that we took out last time, which goes just in this hole here, and it's literally as simple as that. So that one's back on. I mean, I think we're pretty much ready to just chuck this back in the car, I guess. I don't think there's anything else we have to do. Let's go just lay it back on the head, see what it looks like, make sure I haven't missed anything, and let's just start putting things back together and turn the car over, I guess. I'm genuinely so happy with how this has turned out. Oh, actually, I lied to you. I was so wrong. We need to get this bloody gasket. I knew I was missing something. I knew it. I can't believe I genuinely almost forgot to put the bloody gasket back in. There's not been a single time through my whole project car journey that I've known exactly what I have to do, to be honest with you. So there's a lot of learning that happens. This is definitely one of those moments. Anyway, let's put the fill cap back on and then we'll insert the ignition leads, mount up these brackets for the cables that sit behind, and we should be good to go, I guess. Let's do all that now. Okay, valve covers back in, everything looks like it's ready to go. I don't think that I've missed anything, but I probably have, I have no idea. Let's set up the camera. I'm gonna try and turn the car over just to make sure that everything still works, and hopefully I've done everything right. So let's test it. All right, well, it's now or never, I guess. I am genuinely so nervous that I've made a terrible mistake and done something that I shouldn't have. All right, let's go. Let's go. I think we're okay. I am so happy that she started, and even happier that there's no oil falling all over the ground. That's sick. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm gonna go take the car outside in the sun and we'll see if we can get some of that sexy B-roll to have a look at how good the paint actually looks. So there you go. Turns out it does look good. I'm so freaking happy that this worked. Part of me was really worried that I wasn't gonna get it finished or it wasn't gonna turn out the way that I hoped it would, but I am so pleased to see how good that looks on the car. Hell yes, dude. We did that, man. This was honestly one of the funner projects that we've done in quite a while because it has such a rewarding end. If you guys want to try this out for yourself and use exactly the same paints and processes and all the stuff that I did, I'll leave everything in the description, from the primer to the base metallic to the top coat. Everything that I used will all be in the description. You don't have to use this metallic red that I did. There's heaps of other colors out there, from like purples and oranges and blues and greens and all sorts of stuff. You can do some Googling and I'm sure you'll find something. If you guys have any suggestions for things that you'd like to see me try and learn and do on the Lancer, leave me a comment below. I genuinely have no idea about any of this stuff, and most of the things that I'm doing, I've never tried before. So I'm open to learn, and I'm open to look like an idiot. So if you think there's something cool that I should learn, let me know. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media. All the links will be in the description. But other than that, I'm gonna see you guys next week. I love your faces. Bye.